Hello guys, I'm Ryan, or Halogen, here for Squadron Reviews.
And I'm Jordan, also known as Gamertag.
And today we'll be bringing you our top 10 games of the year.
Now, we both played many different games from each other, so because of this we decided to do this a little differently.
Instead of counting down from 10 to 1, we'll each give our own top 5 games this year that we played.
And this is just the ones that we've played. Sorry for those that we left out, like Bloodborne or Undertale.
So Jordan, with that out of the way, let's get to your number 5.
Number 5 is The Witcher 3. It draws you in with its attractive art direction, its array of brilliant colors, and its staggering, detailed world. Just when you think you can walk away, it keeps you glued to the screen with its gripping storytelling, addictive role-playing game mechanics, and intense combat. This title's world is immense, split into several separate regions that are already huge to begin with. From swamps to vast farming fields, the world feels practical, but that makes the game arguably more intriguing. You can relate to imperfect stony outcrops and battered wooden bridges in a way that makes it more interesting, but an element that kicks you into the game with fighting an awesome monster near those areas. Right at the core of combat is swordplay. Geralt uses 2 blades but wields one at a time, one of steel, which is meant for cutting against men and wildlife, while the other is silver and used to fight monsters and mythical encounters. The protagonist will automatically draw the most suitable weapon at the beginning of battle, so you won't have to worry about switching blades during the battle. Making use of parries, blocks, counterattacks, light strikes, heavy blows, and swordplay is fast and strong whether you're holding off men or beasts. And you can't just jog into combat and mash a few buttons and expect to get out of it in one piece. The evasive and offensive techniques in Geralt's arsenal are very complex, but the controls during combat are spot on.
Coming in at number 5, we have The Legend of Zelda Triforce Heroes. Now you guys are probably freaking out behind your computer screens seeing that I put this here. A lot of you guys thinking that I wouldn't put this, but to be honest, I had a tough time deciding between this and Rocket League, but considering I haven't played Rocket League too much, I decided to go with this one. Now many people don't like this game that much. They say it's a big disappointment. And while yes, I freaking hated the fact that you need 3 players to play local multiplayer, I did legitimately enjoy the single player. Even though it was a little tedious, it was actually really fun. Now yes, I did want to put Majora's Mask 3D on here originally, but I didn't actually play it that much, as I did prefer the original. Plus, I think remakes are cop-out entries. Anyway, Jordan, let's move on to your number 4.
Number 4 is Batman Arkham Knight. The technical aspects are not only eye-popping, but they're also quite stable. The graphics are slick, the sound is stellar, the control is rock solid. The gameplay variety is downright tremendous. I love the blending puzzle of stealth, action, and adventure. I still say that the story could be less predictable, although it did have cool twists like wondering the identity of the Arkham Knight. Certain boss battles were short and not well done, but some of them were good, such as the Riddler, which lasted a long time and had cool challenges along the way. The Batmobile, as it is awesome, it was definitely overdone. All the boss battles were basically the same thing, which were all the Cobra tanks, and while they were fun, it could constantly get boring doing it all the time. And we had almost no hand-to-hand boss battles like we did in the other Arkham games. Since the boss battles were so bad, people had high hopes for DLC, and all we got was about 12 to 15 minute long little side mission things, which left the Season of Infamy, and while it did have fun parts, it was still quite short.
Taking the number 4 spot on my list, we have Super Mario Maker. This is another controversial choice. A lot of you probably have your gun pointed at the computer, demanding I place it higher on the list, unless you're pro gun control. But I digress. My thing with this is that it almost doesn't seem like a game to me, but like a tool. It's a great tool that allows you to make many types of levels, varying from hellish abominations that make Tubular seem like an average level of a modern Kirby game. Or you can actually make trippy, creepypasta-like levels, like the one I'm working on where Luigi is possessing an underground chamber and Mario is in purgatory. I have to be totally honest though, I don't care for the 10 or 100 Mario challenge that much. I find the 10 Mario challenge to be meh, nothing fantastic, nothing bad. I find the 100 Mario challenge to be one of the strangest game modes ever in terms of difficulty. It ranges from being easy as all get out, like ridiculously easy. Like how do you need 100 lives to complete a level that a 6-year-old made in 1 minute just placing blocks everywhere and Bowser at the end? God! But then it also can get to levels as hard as Battletoads and Super Meat Boy crossovers. It's also weird how you can skip levels, as it makes it even more easy sometimes, considering you have 100 lives. To finish off, I have to show my appreciation for Nintendo's updates to this game. Showcasing world records on the most popular levels and allowing you to challenge the time is something that I've wanted in a Mario game for a while. Even though you can skip levels on the 100 Mario challenge, I don't recommend skipping this game.
Number 3 on my list is Uncharted: The Nathan Drake Collection. It's a great remastered collection to play on for people who have played the original ones on PS3 if you want to experience them again with better quality and an improved controller. But you wouldn't be missing out on anything if you didn't. Although if you didn't have the games, it's definitely worth playing them to get the full Uncharted experience. Each game has a great adventure and different environments to experience in each game. These games have a great action scenes going from holding onto a train going off a mountain to falling off a plane into the desert. And it has great parkour from jumping from building to building and climbing up huge monuments. Naughty Dog didn't really change anything from the originals other than quality and definitely improved the graphics. But other than that, it wasn't changed too much. So Ryan, before you number 3, I have one question for you.
What is that?
Are you a kid now or a squid now?
So, coming in at my number 3 is Splatoon. Now, this game is freaking awesome. It's one of the best shooters in years, and I'm not even an expert at shooters, and I know that. I can almost imagine Nintendo developers at a bar pitching the new idea of squid-human hybrids who live in a post-apocalyptic city of Tokyo, having constant turf wars where they try to cover landmarks and arenas with their favorite color paint. Yeah, it's a weird concept, but it has amazing delivery. Every match is unique as you're constantly paired against people with different levels of experience in the game, which makes things awesome. I also have to say that one of the major upsides to this game is the weapon system. There are tons of cool things you can do to cover the stage in paint, like using paint rollers, water guns filled with your color's flair, and paintbrushes that can beat the other team in an epic match, which is really awesome. Also, I feel it's necessary to mention the other game modes in Splatoon. While I don't care for the local multiplayer, like at all, I really do like the story mode. It's quick, but it's pretty damn cool. The visuals are stunning, and the final boss is one of the coolest fights in any Nintendo game ever. But seriously, I highly recommend picking this game up if you have a Wii U. Hell, I think it's a reason to get a Wii U if you've been considering purchasing one. This video game is one of those games that is perfect for casuals who want a new game, or highly competitive players who seek involvement in clans, communities, tournaments, and leagues. I think Nintendo was absolutely genius to take on the shooter genre that has proven to be popular with COD and Battlefield, and to make it into a game about spreading paint around an arena. Splatoon is a great game, and it's so hard to believe that there are 2 games I prefer to this one. Now we go to Jordan and his number 2.
Number 2 on my list is Fallout 4. It's an amazing game that lures you into the mystery and promise of adventure. Its wrecked wasteland can be captivating, and you never know what odd person or settlement lies around the next corner. Fallout 4 uses its dark world as a canvas for exciting combat and gripping stories. Nuclear war further complicated life in Boston. Everyone wants to survive, but no one wants to work together. The weight of this horrible reality caused some people to go mad, but for others, its radiation turned people into sightseeing abominations. Though many of the secondary quests amount to dungeon raids and fetch quests, these challenges fling you into combat, which is a dynamic, thrilling mix of shooting in real time and carefully selecting your targets in an RPG-rooted commanding system known as VATS. While in this mode, you aim for specific body parts and get to see how you want to hit your mark, and the damage you inflict that you do. It lacks immediacy or straight shooting, but it helps you, and it's a good resource for an effective warrior. It's an extension of the same mechanic from Fallout 3 and Fallout New Vegas, but activating the VATS in this game paused action completely. Now it merely slows down time, and you're more vulnerable to that result. The power armor is very cool and not overused, enjoying the benefits of extra strength, endurance, and well as the ability to jump over high places without taking damage and generally feel like a clunking behemoth as you stomp around the world. The catch is that the power armor can be damaged and will need repairing with crafting materials. It's also powered by rare fusion cores, which means you can't spend the entire game in it. It's nicely balanced and makes it feel useful at those times when you can't just strap on the suit and feel more special.
And my number 2 game is the game I was also most anticipating for 2015, and that is Xenoblade Chronicles X. I felt that the original Xenoblade was an awesome game, so I was excited to see how this one would turn out, and it was awesome. It takes inspiration from classic JRPGs, action RPGs, third-person shooters, free-roam games, and western games like the Grand Theft Auto series. It's freaking awesome. It's definitely the most expansive game that's on this list. Now, despite this, it's actually pretty underrated. The graphics and art design are absolutely gorgeous. The world this game is in is beautifully vast with amazing design of the planet Mira's creatures and landmarks all around it. While many didn't like the story, I haven't found a problem with it, and I really don't see the big deal. Story may be important, but people thinking a lack of character development ruined the whole story just doesn't work in my mind. I know it's your opinion, but I just think that character development can't ruin an entire game. It usually can't even ruin an entire story thinking about it. The only reason I feel this game isn't number 1 is because it's very hardcore. The combat system and the side missions can occasionally be overwhelming, but that's what makes this game awesome. Sometimes when I'm stressed out I like to play Wii U, but I usually play casual games, and that's happened a fair bit lately, so I haven't gotten enough time to play this game. But there is some fun things that I can play when relaxing. Xenoblade Chronicles X has a lot of great exploration, and running around the vast world and engaging in combat against cool monsters can be pretty fun. Xenoblade Chronicles X is a great sequel and is an excellent step into developing Xenoblade into one of Nintendo's latest and best franchises. Time for Jordan's big moment. Time for his number 1.
Number 1 on my list, which is my favorite game of 2015, is Assassin's Creed Syndicate. The combat is fast-paced and tricky unless you pick your way of using it. You can use fists, swords, or a cane to fight. The stealth in this game is great. You can go into stealth mode where you put on your hood and crouch down, or you can put on your hat and stand up. The rope launcher is fantastic to use to get up buildings, and since they have carriages, it's easier to get across buildings since of the wide roads. It's also a great way to get around different missions if you don't like carriages. The carriages all actually are really fun though to drive. You're very fast, and you can use awesome battles when you're using them. It's great to ram into other carriages or get on top and fight people while you're moving. A great part of this game is that you get to play as 2 characters, Jacob and Evie Fry, siblings who work together as assassins, as Jacob is more interested in raising his gang and taking back control from the other gangs. Evie focuses more on stealth and is trying to locate the pieces of Eden to take down the Templars. The story is very enjoyable, and though it didn't have an origin, it's nice to go right into action for once.
And my number 1 game of the year is Ori and the Blind Forest. This is, in my opinion, the obvious choice for Game of the Year. I don't think I've been this blown away by a game since my first playthrough of Super Mario 64. Every single thing that makes a game good is present here. Let's start with the way the game is presented. The best visuals of any game maybe ever. It's got beautiful backgrounds, amazing character design, and high resolution. The kind of graphics that years later would never age, similar to games like Super Mario World and the Rayman series. The soundtrack is also something that has been discussed a lot, and for good reasoning. The music is atmospheric, beautiful, emotional, and just plain awesome. When I played this game with headphones, I was speechless. The story is also pretty deep, as it deals with the loss and tragedy, while also telling a great story filled with fully realized characters. But now we must talk about the bread and butter of the gameplay. It's flawless. The game is one of the most difficult games in years, yet it is still fun. While there may be some backtracking, especially considering there's no auto-saving, it never seemed like a flaw to this game. The gameplay is so much fun and the world is so beautiful that playing these parts is, again, just fun. at least in my opinion. The saving system is also one of the high points for this game. And no, I'm not talking about how it saved my hope for the game industry as a whole. I also think how collecting energy cells is the only way to use the soul links, which are the save links, and that's what I call them. And they're kind of the checkpoints, and I think that's an awesome system to have that, so you have to collect the energy cells to save your game. But yes, I could gush on and on and on and on about how good this game is. I feel it's important that you try it out for yourself and decide how you feel. This game can be played on both Xbox and PC, so I suggest picking it up if you're looking for a new game for one of these systems. All I will say is that it's a great Metroidvania-style platformer with great wall jumping and Spirit Flame mechanics, and has some of the best visuals and soundtrack of any game this year.
Overall, 2015 was a great year for gaming.
Yeah, I agree. While there weren't as many good games, the good games this year were fantastic.
Agreed.
Anyways, guys, we'll see you next time with some videos on all kinds of things, whether they be games or movies. Stay tuned for more content. Subscribe, like this video, comment, whatever you guys do. Dislike, whatever. Just hope you enjoyed, and hope to see you next time. Bye.